Hello, 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 cook along friends. How are you today? I'm excited to cook along with you today, and I'm excited that Memorial Day weekend is coming up. And I picked a recipe that would be kind of fun for Memorial Day weekend while you're out on your picnic or at the beach or on the lake or in the backyard even. And they are a layered rainbow pasta salad that goes in a jar, so you can take it along with you. So we're going to make these pasta salads in these mason jars. I've got 4 mason jars. If you don't have mason jars, you can use a bowl instead. A little pretty glass bowl would be just as gorgeous, and of course just as delicious. Now I'm just trying to say tag friends. Okay. All right, so in order to get started, we're going to just have a few people check in before so they can make sure that they get their setup just like my setup. And of course, we're going to wash our hands. Now, these recipes are designed to be 30 minutes or less. So we're probably going to spend about 20 minutes today. They're designed to be simple, but of course, delicious. But if you want more skills, I have the perfect program for you. It's an online course. It's called Farm Box Kitchen Boot Camp, where I teach knife skills, making sauces, baking perfect desserts, and grilling and sauteing like a pro. So I'm going to put the information about that online course in the comments below. It's a great course for kids that are like 8 to 13 and up. Teens can do this course on their own. Younger kids can do it with their parents along. So check it. I hope you check it out. And let's go ahead and check out what we got to do to get started today. So of course we washed our hands. And the next thing that we're going to do is get our ingredients ready. So I already had written in the Facebook page that you're going to want to do your pasta in advance and pick a shaped pasta, not a noodle, not a long noodle. So I'm making penne pasta today. You'll have to cook your pasta according to your the type of pasta that you're making. This took 11 minutes to boil. Then I drained it, and then I rinsed it off in cool water to stop the cooking, and then I just added a little bit of olive oil to keep it from sticking together. So that's the first part of your pasta salad, of course. And then we're gonna have some vegetables that go along in there. So we've got cherry tomatoes, and this is frozen corn. I took it out so it could defrost in time. You could use fresh corn. You can use other vegetables if you like, if you have them in the refrigerator. By all means, make this your own adventure. And again, make your own adventure on the beans that you select. I am making this with kidney beans today, but edamame would be delicious. Garbanzo beans would be delicious. So you can pick your own beans as well as your cheese. So I'm using fresh mozzarella. You could also use Jack, cheddar, Parmesan. The firm mozzarella cheese would be great as well. So there's another option that you can do to choose your own salad. And then fresh herbs. So I went to my garden, I picked some basil, some oregano, and thyme, but you could use whatever combination of soft herbs. You could use mint if you like. You could try spinach or arugula. So those are all be great in your layered pasta salads as well. The next thing we're going to talk about is our ingredients. I'm sorry, our equipment. So another ingredient, you need some lemons. I'm going to just bring out 2 just in case one lemon doesn't give me enough juice, because my lemons are kind of small. And I also brought out some vinegar in case I don't have enough lemon juice, so I could just kind of add into it. Or if it gets too tart and too puckery, I can add a little bit of vinegar and kind of balance it out a little bit. You'll need olive oil, Dijon mustard, and salt and pepper for your dressing as well. To make your dressing, we're going to use a shaker jar, or you could use one of these mason jars. So I'm going to show you my signature way of making a shaken vinaigrette that turns out perfectly every single time. So you're going to need that. Pasta tasting spoons, so you can taste your dressing. A couple measuring cups if you like. You can eyeball things as well. Measuring spoons for your Dijon mustard. And then of course you'll need a cutting board, a chef knife that fits your hand. I'm also pulling out a serrated knife or a bread knife today because sometimes when my knife isn't sharp enough, it won't cut through the tomatoes, but the serrated knife goes right through, and instead of smashing the tomatoes as I'm cutting it, it will just go right, cut them right in half. It takes a little less effort. If you have a microplane, you can use that. If you have a lemon squeezer, you can use that as well. a can opener if you're using a can of beans. Let me see, I think I got everything. So 4 of these mason jars or a pretty glass bowl. And let's talk about how we're gonna get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to get our vegetables ready to go into the salad. Pretty easy prep today. I'm gonna start with our herbs. What you wanna do with your herbs is take the leaves off of the stem and mound them into the center of your cutting board. And you're gonna need enough for a 1/4 cup. If you have some little teeny tiny soft stems, that's okay. But the big hard ones you want to take off. That goes in the center. And we'll grab our chef's knife. So when we pick up our chef's knife, we always pinch it at the blade to stabilize our grip and then wrap 3 fingers around. This hand is going to go on top of the knife with our fingers curled up, not holding the knife, but fingers curled up. And then it goes into the mound of food that you made here with the tip facing towards 10 o'clock. Tip stays down, back of the knife stays up, and then we go up and down through the herbs. And at first it might be a little sticky. It might not seem like everything is cutting down, but just keep on pushing it back together and then running your knife through it to mince it. Once you get that motion down, you can start going a little bit faster. But the thing you don't want to do is pick up your knife and cut like this. That makes the food fly everywhere and it's really noisy. So we keep the tip down, keep our elbows in, keep ourselves in control. And this can be as minced as fine as you like or as large as you like. I want a little bit of texture with my herbs, almost like a salad. So I'm just gonna do it just about that far. You could also just tear it up with your hands if you didn't wanna cut it with the knife. Clear your knife by taking your finger and pushing away from the blade. And then we're gonna take our herbs and just put them aside. Next up is tomatoes. So I'm being careful not to use my knife to pick up my herbs. I'm using the back of my knife to scrape it off of my cutting board. Now you have some stuff on your cutting board, that's okay. It's all going into the pasta salad. So you don't need to wash your cutting board. We can just go on to the tomatoes. Now we need 1 cup of tomatoes. This is more than what I need. So I'm just gonna cut enough to fill up 1 cup. Like I said, and I should move all this out of the way, you wanna make sure that your knife can go through the tomatoes, but if you're smashing it, grab a bread knife or a serrated knife. So you're gonna hold your tomato just like you would your food with that little tiny claw grip and the thumb behind. And my knife went right through it. Let's try and see how it goes with a serrated knife. Really smooth. So I'll give you some time to cut your tomatoes in half. And we just need a full cup. We've got 2 cups of pasta, 1 cup of tomatoes, a 1/2 cup of corn, a 1/2 cup of beans, 4 ounces of cheese. And keep all your ingredients separate because we're gonna do this in layers. And the layers are gonna go in the order that will stay freshest the longest. And if you're cutting your tomatoes, make sure that you're watching your hands, not watching the screen. Let me see how I look with the cup. Actually, I have a cup over here. I need a little bit more. So it's about 1/2 of a pint. What if you're not a tomato fan? You could try peppers instead. This is the best time of year for tomatoes. All right, so here's our cup of tomatoes, our herbs, and then we have our corn all ready to go. I'm gonna cut up my cheese. So this cheese is already pre-sliced. You need 4 ounces, that's about 4 ounces. So I already have the slices. Now I just need to make the dices. So I'm going to cut it in half, put the flat side down, turn it so the slices are going this way, and then cut my dice. So you're gonna have pieces of cheese that look like that. So if you're doing another type of cheese, you can go ahead and cut that into dices. The dices are better than grating it. They'll just hold up a lot better. And then when you eat it, you can get a little bit of everything in every bite. This is looking very summery to me. Let's get this out of the way. So far I have my pasta, my fresh herbs, my cherry tomatoes that I cut in half, my corn, and my mozzarella cheese. I need my beans. So if you're using a can of beans, you'll open it with your can opener and grab a strainer. I just need half of a cup of beans. So that is about a half of a can. So I'm gonna take this over to the sink. I'm gonna strain this out. I'm gonna get the water going through it until the water runs clear underneath. And then I'm gonna shake it out so I get all the water off of it, because I don't want my pasta salad to be watery. I'll put these on a towel and give them a drain. And I'll let them drain while I'm making my vinaigrette. So here's what I need for my vinaigrette. I have my shaker jar and my lemon. And I already washed off my lemon and dried it with a paper towel. If you wash your lemon, just get it dry before you zest it, or else it's gonna be difficult and slippery to zest. Then my zester, I will hold in my right hand, my lemon in my left hand, and I'm just gonna make little strokes, making sure that my hand is away from the blades of the zester. Just tiny little strokes until I get down to the white part of the lemon. I just keep turning the lemon around and around. And I need about a teaspoon. So here's my lemon zest caught on the zester. I just turn it over, tap, tap, tap it into the bowl. Then I'm gonna take a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Remember, this is gonna be our emulsifier. This helps keep everything stuck together, and mine kind of just exploded on me. So emulsification means when a liquid and an oil are combined. They don't separate. Next, I'm gonna cut my lemon in half. And I can either use my hands to squeeze it. So if I use my hand to squeeze it, I usually use my hand like a little strainer to catch all the seeds. But I also love, 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 love my citrus squeezer. So that goes in with the flat side down, and then you pull the two handles together and squeeze. And then I'm gonna do the other half. And I got a very small little lemon, so I might put a little bit more lemon in mine. Actually, I'm just going ahead and do that. And next, I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It's okay to measure over your dressing. If a little bit of olive oil spills in, it'll be fine. So 2 tablespoons I'm going to start with, And then I might add more if I feel like my dressing isn't thick enough. I'm also gonna add some salt, of course. I wanna season everything and make sure it tastes delicious. So about 4 cranks of, this is Himalayan pink sea salt, pink salt. About 4 cranks of pepper. And this is the fun part. You put the lid on, make sure it's sealed tight. And then you shake it until it gets all thick and creamy. If it doesn't look like enough dressing, you might need to add a little bit more olive oil. Mine is a little bit too liquidy, so I'm going to put 1 more tablespoon of olive oil in. And give that another shake. I want to make sure that all the Dijon mustard has gotten in there. And the Dijon mustard helps to thicken up, but you just taste a delicious flavor. It doesn't taste strong like some mustard can. And then a great way to taste your dressing, you can use a tasting spoon or you can just use a cherry tomato because that's what's going to go on it anyway. If it doesn't have enough salt, you can give a little bit more salt. If it doesn't have enough peppery flavor, a few more cranks of pepper. If you feel like the lemon is too puckery, just give it a little splash of balsamic vinegar. I'm using white balsamic vinegar. You can use white wine vinegar. Shake it up again. So here comes the fun part. We're gonna make our layered rainbow pasta salad jars. And I'm just gonna give myself a little cleanup so I can have things nice and neat as I prepare these little jars of pasta salad. So they look like this. I have my mise en place all in front of me, so I know what order it goes in. Actually, I will put it in order. So pasta first, tomatoes, corn, cheese, herbs. Oh, beans. And then we're gonna take our 4 jars and divide that dressing up. First thing into the jar. So pour it in there, just kind of eyeball. Quarter, 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 quarter. And so you'll have it about this full. And we're gonna do the same thing with the pasta. Divide it in. You can use your hands, they're clean. A little bit easier than trying to use a spoon. Quarter, quarter. Yep. Nice and even. And actually then the beans are going to go in next. What we want to do is keep the vegetables away from the lemon juice, because if the vegetables hit the lemon juice, they'll start to break down a little bit. They'll start to get too mushy. And then my beans, I'm going to go divide it into quarters. Just a half a cup, not the whole can. And next we have tomatoes. Let's see if I can tip that in there. These are 8-ounce jars. It's good to have a little space at the top because when you shake it up, all of the pasta salad will get mixed together. And next we've got our corn. And if you're using fresh corn, that's great. Frozen corn is perfect because what they do is they take it from the field and they freeze it right away so it's as fresh can be. But also this is the time of year when we're gonna have some great summer corn. Bless you, honey. And then we have our cheese. So mozzarella is my cheese of choice. These are feeling very Mediterranean to me. But if you change your ingredients, you can kind of change the flavor profile. Cooking is very, you can go around the world with cooking. It's fun to try different flavors. There is our cheese, and now I'm just going to put my 1/4 cup of herbs on top here. You could use 6-ounce jars and still have enough space. The next thing you do, you put on the cap. You can store these in the refrigerator for 24 hours. You can make them for lunch ahead of time so you can just grab them and take them to school with you or wherever you're on the go. And when you're ready to eat them, you shake them up. I would do it about 10 minutes before you're ready to eat, so that way you can have all the flavors mixed together. And you take off the jar top and dig in. Gotta get some pasta. So these are my layered rainbow vegetable pasta salads, lemony vinaigrette. They're so delicious and fresh. I hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I love cooking along with you today. If you have pictures, make sure you post them on our Facebook page. And I can't wait to cook along with you next week. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.